She was counting. 1, 2, 3, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. 50 times the leather belt struck her pregnant body. 50 times she stayed silent, because screaming only made it worse. But this time was different. This time, a small red light blinked in the corner of the bedroom. A nanny cam, recording everything, every strike, every moment, every crime. What her husband didn't know was that footage was already backed up in 3 different cloud accounts. And by morning, it would be in the hands of someone who knew exactly what to do with it. A decorated Marine, a father who had seen combat, a man who was about to use 30 years of military training to destroy an abuser. Legally, systematically, permanently. This is the true story of how one piece of video evidence, one courageous woman, and one protective father brought a monster to justice. This is the story of Becca Morrison, and this is how her nightmare finally ended. The leather belt whistled through the air for the 50th time before Becca Morrison realized she was counting. The crack of leather against flesh echoed through the bedroom. Sharp, final, like punctuation on a sentence she never wanted to read. She curled tighter on the hardwood floor, her hands wrapped around her swollen belly. 7 months pregnant, the baby inside her kicked frantically. Fighting. She wished she could fight too. Do you understand now? Grant's voice came from somewhere above her. Cold, controlled, like he was discussing quarterly sales reports instead of destroying his wife. Dinner was supposed to be ready at 6. It was 6:15. Becca's throat burned. She tasted copper, blood from where she had bitten her lip to keep from screaming. Don't scream. Screaming makes it worse. She had learned that 18 months ago, the first time. The time she told herself was just stress, just wedding planning pressure. Just a one-time thing that would never happen again. 50 strikes later, she knew better. Answer me, Rebecca. His use of her full name made her flinch. When they were dating, he called her Becca. Sweetheart, baby. Those names disappeared 6 months into the marriage. Now she was Rebecca, or worse. I understand. Her voice came out as a whisper. Raw, broken. Good. Grant's footsteps moved toward the closet. The belt buckle clinked as he hung it back on the rack, right next to his work ties, his golf shirts, the normal things that normal husbands wore. Then his phone buzzed. She heard him answer. Hey, Rick, yeah, I'm ready. Be there in 10 minutes. His voice transformed, warm, charming, the voice everyone else heard. Business dinner at the club. You know how it is. He laughed, actually laughed. Becca stayed on the floor. Didn't move. Couldn't move. The bedroom door opened, closed. His car engine started in the driveway. The sound faded down the street. Then silence. Complete, suffocating silence. She lay there for a long time. The hardwood floor pressed against her cheek, cold, unforgiving. The baby kicked again. Gentler this time, like the little person inside her was asking if they were okay. We're not okay, baby. We're really not okay. But she couldn't say that out loud, couldn't admit it, because admitting it meant accepting that her life had become this, that the man she married was capable of counting to 50 while using her body as target practice. Finally, she pushed herself up. Her arms shook. Her back screamed in protest. 50 welts, 50 separate points of fire across her shoulders, her back, her arms. She made it to the bathroom, turned on the shower, then changed her mind. The bathtub. She needed the bathtub. Becca climbed in fully clothed, her maternity dress, her cardigan, her shoes, everything. She turned on the water, cold. She didn't deserve warm. The water soaked through her clothes, turned them heavy. She watched the water pool around her, clear at first, then tinged with pink, then red. She was bleeding somewhere. She didn't know where, didn't care. Her phone sat on the bathroom counter. 3 feet away, might as well be 3 miles. She stared at it, unlocked the screen with shaking fingers. Her contacts list appeared. Mom, Dad, Jill. Her finger hovered over Dad's name. Colonel Thomas Hayes, United States Marine Corps, 30 years of service. Her hero since she could remember. Daddy would come. Daddy would fix this. But Grant's voice echoed in her head. If you ever tell anyone, I'll make sure everyone knows what a failure you are. What a terrible wife. How you drove me to this. Your father will be ashamed of you. Her finger moved away from Dad's name. She locked the phone, unlocked it, locked it, unlocked it, locked it. The cycle repeated over and over, like if she did it enough times, the right answer would appear, the magical solution. The way out that didn't destroy everything, but there was no magical solution. The baby kicked again, harder this time, insistent. I know, she whispered to her belly. I know we have to do something. The water in the tub had gone cold, freezing actually. Her teeth chattered. She looked around the bathroom. Their bathroom, the one Grant renovated last year. Marble countertops, rainfall shower, heated floors. The Pinterest bathroom she showed him from her dream house board. He gave her everything she asked for, except safety, except kindness, except the basic human right to exist without fear. That's when she saw it. The red light, small, blinking, in the corner by the ceiling. The nanny cam. They didn't have a baby yet, wouldn't for 2 more months, but Grant insisted they install cameras now. For security, he said, so we can monitor the nursery from our phones. The camera was recording everything, all of it. Becca's heart stopped, then started again faster. The camera saw it. The camera saw everything. She climbed out of the tub. Water streamed off her clothes, pooled on the heated floor. She grabbed her phone with numb fingers, opened the nanny cam app. The footage was there, time-stamped, dated, saved to the cloud. She watched herself on screen, watched the belt rise and fall, watched herself curl into a ball, watched Grant's face, cold, calculating, counted the strikes. 1, 2, 3, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. This is real. This is actually happening to me. The words formed in her mind, clear, undeniable. I'm not crazy. I'm not exaggerating. That just happened. Her fingers moved across the phone screen. Muscle memory, years of being a teacher, sending files to parents. She emailed the video to herself, personal email, school email. The old Hotmail account from college she barely remembered the password to, cloud backup. 3 different places, 3 different accounts. He couldn't delete all of them. Then she opened her calendar, found Dr. Sullivan's office number. The phone rang once, twice, 3 times. Women's Health Associates. This is Jennifer. How can I help you? Becca's voice cracked. I need to see Dr. Sullivan, tomorrow if possible. Please. Is this for a regular checkup? Yes. The lie came easily. Becca had gotten very good at lying. Just a routine checkup. I have an opening at 9:30 tomorrow morning. Does that work? Yes, thank you. Becca ended the call, sat down on the bathroom floor. Her wet clothes soaked the bath mat. The baby kicked. She put both hands on her belly. I'm going to get us out, she whispered. I promise. I'm going to get us out. But she didn't know how, didn't know if she was strong enough, didn't know if anyone would even believe her. Grant was so good at being charming, so good at making everyone love him. His co-workers, their friends, her mother. Everyone thought she was lucky to have him. She looked at her reflection in the bathroom mirror, didn't recognize the woman staring back. Hollow eyes, bruised lip, wet hair plastered to her face. Who are you? What happened to you? But she knew. She knew it by what happened. She fell in love with a monster, and the monster gave her a beautiful house, a promising future, and 50 reasons to leave. Now she just had to find the courage to do it. Tomorrow she would start. Tonight she would survive. The waiting room at Women's Health Associates smelled like lavender and vanilla. Soft music played from hidden speakers. Watercolor paintings of mothers and babies covered the walls. Everything designed to be calming. Becca felt anything but calm. She sat in the corner chair, the one farthest from everyone else. Her oversized cardigan covered most of the welts. The ones on her arms, the ones that had turned dark purple overnight. The ones on her back were hidden, for now. Rebecca Morrison? A nurse appeared in the doorway, clipboard in hand, smile on her face. Becca stood, followed her down the hallway, past examining rooms with closed doors, past the ultrasound room where she saw her baby's face 3 weeks ago. Grant had been with her that day, held her hand, smiled at the screen, talked about names and nursery colors and their future. 21 days later, he beat her 50 times with his belt. Room 3, the nurse said. Dr. Sullivan will be right with you. Can you change into this gown for me, opening in the front? Becca nodded, took the gown, waited for the nurse to leave. Then she stared at the gown. Thin, paper, it would hide nothing. Her hands shook as she unbuttoned her cardigan, pulled off her loose t-shirt, unzipped her maternity jeans. The mirror on the wall reflected everything. 50 welts, some overlapping, some separate, all visible, all screaming the truth she had been hiding. She put on the gown, tied it loosely, sat on the examining table. The paper crinkled beneath her. 3 minutes passed, 7. Then a knock at the door. Becca? It's Dr. Sullivan. Can I come in? Yes. Dr. Patricia Sullivan entered, 42 years old, auburn hair pulled back in a neat bun, kind eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. Becca had been seeing her for 2 years. Dr. Sullivan looked at her chart, then at Becca, then back at the chart. So this is listed as a routine checkup. Dr. Sullivan's voice was gentle, professional. How are you feeling? Fine, the automatic answer. Everything's fine. Okay, let's check your blood pressure first. Dr. Sullivan wrapped the cuff around Becca's arm, pumped it tight. The machine beeped. 150/95, Dr. Sullivan said quietly. That's high, Becca, much higher than your normal. I've been stressed. About what? Just life, getting ready for the baby. Dr. Sullivan made a note on the chart. And how's baby been moving? A lot. Very active. Good, that's good. Dr. Sullivan set down the chart, pulled her stethoscope from around her neck. I need to listen to your lungs. Can you lean forward for me? Becca leaned forward. The gown gaped in the back. Dr. Sullivan's hand stilled, the cold stethoscope pressed against Becca's back. Then moved. Pressed again, moved again. Silence stretched between them. Finally, Dr. Sullivan spoke. Becca, I need you to look at me. Becca turned, met the doctor's eyes. What happened to your back? The rehearsed answer sat on her tongue. I fell. The stairs are steep. I'm so clumsy lately with the pregnancy, but the words wouldn't come. Instead, tears did, silent, streaming down her face, uncontrollable. Dr. Sullivan's hand found Becca's shoulder, warm, steady. Becca, I need you to hear me. You didn't do anything wrong. Those words, those specific words, they cracked something inside her, something that had been holding everything together. I can't. There. Becca's voice broke. I can't do this anymore. You don't have to. Not alone. Dr. Sullivan moved to sit on the rolling stool. Eye level with Becca now. Can you tell me what happened? And just like that, after 3 years of lying, 3 years of hiding, 3 years of pretending everything was fine, Becca told the truth. My husband beat me last night. With his belt, I counted 50 times. The words hung in the air, real, undeniable, spoken out loud for the first time. Dr. Sullivan's face didn't change. No shock, no judgment, just steady, professional concern. How long has this been happening? 18 months, since about 6 months after we got married. Has it been escalating? Yes. Has he ever hit you in the stomach? No, he's very careful about that. Very careful about where he leaves marks. Does anyone else know? No. Becca wiped her eyes. No one, Fia. He said if I told anyone, he would make sure everyone knew it was my fault. That I'm a terrible wife. That my family would be ashamed of me. Dr. Sullivan reached for a box of tissues, handed them to Becca. Becca, I need to tell you something important. What you just described is not your fault. It's not because you're a terrible wife. It's because your husband is abusive. And what he did last night wasn't discipline. It wasn't anger. It was attempted murder. Of you and your unborn child. The words landed like physical blows. Attempted murder. But he didn't. Becca shook her head. He was very controlled, very precise. He knows exactly what he's doing. That makes it worse, not better. Becca, you and your baby are in danger. I know. The admission hurt. I know we are. Dr. Sullivan stood, walked to the door, opened it slightly. Jennifer, Can you ask Detective Brennan to come in, please? Tell her it's urgent. Becca's head snapped up. Detective? I'm a mandatory reporter, Becca, for domestic violence involving pregnant women. I called the police before I came in here. I saw the marks through your gown when you were sitting in the chair. Panic clawed at Becca's throat. He'll kill me. You don't understand. When he finds out I told someone, he'll kill me. Jitter Sullivan knelt in front of her, took both of Becca's hands. We hear that a lot. Women who come in with injuries like yours, they all say the same thing. He'll kill me if I tell. And you know what? They're right. The most dangerous time is when you leave. When you tell, when you break his control. That's why we don't send you home to figure it out alone. That's why Detective Brennan is here. That's why we have a protocol. A knock at the door. A woman entered. Late 30s. Dark hair pulled back. Badge clips to her belt. Rebecca Morrison? I'm Detective Sarah Brennan. I specialize in domestic violence cases. Dr. Sullivan tells me you might need some help. Becca looked at the detective, at the doctor, at the two women who were offering her something she hadn't had in 3 years. Belief, support, a way out. I have video, Becca whispered, from our nanny cam. It recorded everything. Detective Brennan pulled up a chair, sat down. Her face remained calm, professional. Can you show me? Becca's hands shook as she pulled out her phone, opened her email, clicked the video file. She turned the phone around, handed it to Detective Brennan. The detective watched 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes. Then she stopped the video, set the phone down carefully. Mrs. Morrison, we need to document everything, photos, medical records, and I need you to send me that video. Can you do that? Yes. Good, because what I just watched is a crime, multiple crimes actually, and I'm going to make sure your husband answers for every single one. Becca started crying again. Not from fear this time, from relief. Someone believed her. Someone was going to help. For the first time in 18 months, she wasn't alone. Detective Brennan's office didn't look like what Becca expected. No harsh fluorescent lights, no cold metal desk, instead soft lighting, comfortable chairs, a box of tissues within easy reach, a victim-friendly interview room. Becca sat in one of the chairs, her phone in her hand, the video queued up and ready. Detective Brennan sat across from her, notepad open, pen ready. Before we start, Detective Brennan said, I want you to know that you can stop at any time. Take breaks, ask questions. This is your process, Becca. You're in control here. Your process. You're in control. Becca couldn't remember the last time she felt in control of anything. Okay, she whispered. Can you tell me what happened last night? In your own words. Start wherever feels right. Becca took a deep breath. Dinner was late. I was making pot roast, his favorite. But I misjudged the cooking time. It wasn't ready until 6:15. He said it was supposed to be ready at 6. Did he tell you it needed to be ready at 6? No, but I should have known. He always eats at 6. Okay, so dinner was 15 minutes late. What happened next? He told me to go upstairs, to the bedroom. He was very calm, very controlled. That's how I knew it was going to be bad. Detective Brennan made a note. How did you know? When he yells, it's not as bad. When he's quiet, when he's calm, that's when he really hurts me. How long have you known this pattern? About a year. So this has happened before. It wasn't a question, but Becca answered anyway. Yes, many times. How many times would you estimate? Becca thought, counted in her head. Maybe 20 times. Some smaller, some bigger. Last night was the worst. Detective Brennan wrote everything down. Her expression never changed. Never showed shock or disgust or pity. Just professional, steady, calm. Can you tell me what happened in the bedroom? Becca's throat tightened. He took his belt off, the leather one, his dress belt. He told me to get on the floor, I did. Then he started hitting me. Where did he hit you? My back, my shoulders, my arms. He's very careful to avoid my stomach. Very careful to hit places that can be covered with clothes. How many times did he hit you? 50 times, I counted. Did he say anything while he was hitting you? Yes, he said I needed to understand that dinner was supposed to be ready at 6, that I needed to be more responsible, more organized, a better wife. Detective Brennan's pen paused, then continued writing. Did you say anything? I said I understood. That's all I'm allowed to say. What do you mean all you're allowed to say? If I argue, it gets worse. If I cry too loud, it gets worse. If I try to defend myself, it gets worse. I learned to just say yes, to agree, to make it stop faster. How long did the attack last? Maybe 10 minutes, maybe less. Time felt strange. What happened after? He put his belt back, got a phone call, told his friend he was on his way to a business dinner. Then he left. He went to dinner after beating you. Again, not a question, but the disbelief was there. Subtle, controlled. Yes, he goes out after, sometimes with friends, sometimes alone. He says it's to give me time to calm down. Detective Brennan set down her pen, looked directly at Becca. Becca, I need to be very clear with you. What you just described is not discipline. It's not anger management issues. It's torture. Systematic, controlled, premeditated torture. And the fact that he can do that and then go to dinner like nothing happened, that tells me he has done this before, to other people, and he will do it again. The words hit Becca like ice water. Torture. He's been torturing me. Can you show me the video now? Detective Brennan asked gently. Becca nodded, pulled up her phone, opened the email, clicked the video. She handed the phone to Detective Brennan, turned away. She couldn't watch it again. The detective's face came into Becca's peripheral vision. Professional composure, steady breathing, eyes focused on the screen. Then a crack appeared. Detective Brennan's jaw tightened. Her lips pressed together. Her breathing quickened. She watched for 5 minutes, then stopped. Set the phone down very carefully. Mrs. Morrison, Detective Brennan's voice was tight. This is attempted murder of you and your unborn child. This is one of the worst domestic violence cases I have seen in 15 years. Becca expected to feel vindicated, validated. Instead, she felt shame. How did I let it get this bad? I need you to send me this video, Detective Brennan continued, to my official email. It will be evidence, chain of custody, everything documented properly. Okay, but first I need to step out for just a moment. Make some calls, get some things started. Will you be okay here for a few minutes? Becca nodded. Detective Brennan left. The door closed shut, and Becca was alone. She looked around the room, abstract art on the walls, soothing colors, designed to make victims feel safe. Did it work? Did other women sit in this chair and feel safe? She didn't feel safe. She felt exposed, raw, like every secret she had been keeping for 3 years was suddenly visible. Her phone buzzed, a text from Grant. Home late tonight, client dinner, don't wait up. As if nothing happened, as if last night never occurred. Becca stared at the text, at the casual tone, the assumption that everything was normal. That's when it hit her, really hit her. She expected dismissal when she showed people, expected to be told she was overreacting, that it wasn't that bad, that marriages have rough patches. But she got validation, belief, immediate action, which meant it really was that bad, which meant she had been living in a nightmare and calling it normal, which meant everything was about to change. The door opened. Detective Brennan returned. Someone else followed her. A man, late 50s, military haircut, crisp polo shirt. He stopped in the doorway, his eyes locked on Becca. Becca girl? Her father's voice. The voice that read her bedtime stories. The voice that taught her to ride a bike. The voice that walked her down the aisle 3 years ago. Daddy? The word came out broken. Then she was standing, moving. Her father's arms wrapped around her. Strong, safe, steady. She buried her face in his shoulder and sobbed. Colonel Thomas Hayes held his daughter. 30 years in the Marines, combat veteran, decorated soldier. And in that moment, he was just a father holding his broken child. I've got you, he whispered. I've got you now, and I'm not letting go. 2 months earlier, before the belt, before the video, before everything fell apart, Colonel Tom Hayes sat at his kitchen table, phone pressed to his ear. waiting for his daughter to answer. It rang 4 times. 5. 6. "Hi, Dad." Becca's voice came through, bright, cheerful, too cheerful. Tom knew his daughter's voice, knew every variation, every tone, every tell. This voice was fake. "Hey, sweetheart, just checking in. Haven't heard from you in a few weeks." "I know, I'm sorry. It's been busy, you know how it is." "How's the baby?" "Good, really good. Growing like crazy. I'm almost 5 months now." "And Grant, how's he treating you?" A pause. Too long, too obvious. "He's great, busy with work, but great." Tom's instincts activated. The same instincts that kept him alive through 3 tours in the Middle East. Something was wrong. "You sure everything's okay, Becca girl?" "Of course, why wouldn't it be?" "You sound tired." "I am tired. Pregnancy is exhausting." Another pause. "Dad, I need to go. Grant just got home. I'll call you next week, okay?" "Becca, wait." The line went dead. Tom stared at his phone, then at his wife. Diane looked up from her book. "Everything okay?" she asked. "No, something's wrong with Becca." "She's pregnant. Everything feels wrong when you are pregnant." "It's more than that." Diane set down her book. "Tom, you can't go into mission mode every time your daughter sounds tired." But Tom was already opening his laptop, already typing Grant Morrison's name into the search bar. Because Tom Hayes didn't get to be a colonel by ignoring his instincts. And every instinct he had was screaming that his daughter was in danger. He started with the basics. Social media, LinkedIn, work history, Grant Morrison, 32 years old, pharmaceutical sales, executive level, good salary, clean record. Too clean. Tom had interviewed enough people to know when someone was performing for an audience. Grant's social media was all performance. Perfect photos, perfect captions, perfect life. Nobody's life was that perfect. Tom picked up his phone, called a number he hadn't used in 6 years. "Master Sergeant Dale Crawford." The voice answered on the second ring. "Dale, it's Tom Hayes." "Colonel, been a while. What can I do for you?" "I need a favor, off the books. Deep background check on my son-in-law." Dale's tone shifted. Serious now. "What are we looking for?" "I don't know yet. That's why I'm asking." "Give me 48 hours." Tom hung up, went back to his laptop. He found Grant's college records, fraternity president, business degree, dean's list. He found employment records, 3 companies, steady progression, good performance reviews. He found marriage records, 1 previous engagement, broken off 2 years before Becca. No explanation. Tom wrote down the ex-fiancee's name, Emily Patterson. Then he waited. 48 hours later, Dale called back. "Colonel, you're going to want to sit down." Tom's blood went cold. "What did you find?" "Your son-in-law has a history. 2 previous girlfriends filed restraining orders. Both orders mysteriously disappeared. Sealed records, no charges filed." "Names?" "Emily Patterson, Jessica Williamson. I can't get details. Everything's locked tight. But there's a pattern here." Tom's hands gripped the phone. "What kind of pattern?" "The kind where someone with money and connections makes problems disappear. The kind where women get scared and stop talking. The kind that makes me very worried about your daughter." Tom ended the call, stared at the names on his paper. Emily Patterson, Jessica Williamson, women who tried to warn people, women who were silenced. Tom spent the next 3 days tracking them down. Emily Patterson lived in Seattle now, married, 2 kids, moved across the country. She answered his call with suspicion. "Who is this?" "My name is Tom Hayes. Your ex-boyfriend, Grant Morrison, is married to my daughter." Silence on the other end. Heavy, weighted. "I'm sorry," Emily finally said. Her voice shook. "I'm so sorry for your daughter. Can you tell me what happened?" He seemed perfect at first, charming, successful, romantic. Then about 6 months in, things changed. He wanted to control everything. Where I went, who I saw, what I wore. When I pushed back, he got physical. How physical? He never hit my face, always places no one would see, my back, my ribs, my thighs. He was very careful, very strategic. I filed a restraining order. Then his lawyers came, offered me money to make it go away. I was 23, scared. so I took the money and moved. Tom's jaw clenched. Did you ever warn anyone? I tried. I called his next girlfriend, Jessica, told her everything. She didn't believe me, said Grant told her I was mentally unstable, that I was stalking him. She thought I was jealous. What happened to Jessica? I don't know. Last I heard, she filed a restraining order too. Then nothing. Maybe she also took money and ran. Tom thanked her, ended the call. Then he called Jessica Williamson. She didn't answer. He left a voicemail. Ms. Williamson, my name is Colonel Thomas Hayes. I'm trying to learn about Grant Morrison. Please call me back. It's about my daughter's safety. She called back within an hour. Your daughter married Grant? Her voice was hollow, empty. Yes, 3 years ago. Then you need to get her out, now, before he kills her. Tom's heart stopped. What happened to you? He put me in the hospital, twice. The second time I almost died, ruptured spleen, broken ribs, internal bleeding. He told the doctors I fell down the stairs. They believed him. Because Grant is very good at making people believe him. Did you press charges? I tried. His lawyers buried me. Character assassination. They made me look unstable, vindictive. I couldn't afford to fight them. So I signed an NDA, took settlement money, moved to Oregon, changed my name. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. Just get your daughter away from him because he escalates. Each girlfriend gets it worse than the last. If your daughter is pregnant, she's in extreme danger. That's when he's most controlling, most violent. Tom ended the call. He sat in his garage, 2 in the morning, couldn't sleep, didn't want to sleep. His daughter was married to a monster, and Tom had walked her down the aisle, handed her over, gave his blessing. He thought about the wedding, 3 years ago, Grant's charming speech, the way everyone loved him, the way Becca glowed with happiness. Tom thought about every phone call since, every visit, looking for signs he missed. The way Becca started canceling visits, always with good excuses. Work, pregnancy, busy schedules. The way she stopped calling as often. Stopped texting funny memes like she used to. The way her voice changed. Became smaller, quieter, more careful. I should have seen it. She stopped visiting, stopped calling. I told myself she was busy. I told myself it was normal. But it wasn't normal. It was isolation. Classic abuser behavior. Cut the victim off from support systems, make them dependent. Tom opened his laptop, started building a file. Financial records. Grant controlled everything. Becca's trust fund from her grandmother. The one that was supposed to be hers alone. Grant's name was on it. Property records. The house, Grant's name only. Bank accounts, joint account. But all statements went to Grant's email. Work records. Becca quit teaching 6 months after the wedding. To focus on home life, Grant had said. No job, no money, no house, no independence. Tom's phone rang. Dale Crawford. I've got more information, not good information. Tell me. Grant's been bragging at the country club, talking about how he's got his wife trained, how she knows better than to cross him. His buddies think he's joking, making macho posturing jokes. But I listened to recordings and... What recordings? The country club has security cameras. With audio, I have a friend on the board. He pulled footage from the last 6 months. Grant talks about your daughter like she's property, like she's a project he's working on, getting her properly broken in. Tom's vision went red. Send me everything. Already done. Check your email. Tom spent the next week building a case. Evidence, witnesses, financial records, background checks. He contacted Detective Sarah Brennan, former Marine, worked with Tom on a military family case 5 years ago. I need help, Tom told her. My daughter is in an abusive marriage. I have evidence, but I need someone who can make legal moves. Send me what you have. Tom sent everything, the background checks, the ex-girlfriend's statements, the financial records, the country club recordings. Detective Brennan called him back within 24 hours. Tom, this is prosecution-level evidence, but we need something more. We need proof of current abuse, documentation, medical records, video, something that shows active harm. I'm working on it. and work faster, because based on what you sent me, your daughter is running out of time. Tom called Becca again. She didn't answer. He texted, just checking in, love you. She responded 3 hours later. Love you too, Dad. Everything fine. Everything fine, the biggest lie she had ever told. Tom looked at his wife. Diane sat across from him at dinner, neither of them eating. I need to tell you something, Tom said. I know, I've been watching you work. You're in mission mode. What did you find? Tom told her everything. Emily, Jessica, the financial control, the isolation, the evidence. Diane's face went pale, then angry, then devastated. I told her to be patient, Diane whispered. Last time she called me, she sounded upset. I told her marriage takes work, that the first year is hard. I sent her back to him. You didn't know. I should have known. I'm her mother. I should have heard it in her voice. They sat in silence. Two parents, 30 years of marriage, one daughter, in danger. What do we do? Diane asked. We get her out. We destroy him. Legally, completely, permanently. How? I'm still working on that. Then Tom's phone rang. Detective Brennan. Tom, I just got called to Women's Health Associates. A pregnant woman with 50 documented belt welts. Video evidence. Nanny cam footage. You're not going to believe whose wife it is. Tom's blood turned to ice. Grant Morrison. How did you know? Because I've been tracking him for 2 months, waiting for evidence, praying I was wrong. You weren't wrong, and your daughter is here at the police station, asking for you. Tom was in the car before Detective Brennan finished the sentence. Grant Morrison's business trip to Chicago was scheduled for 3 days, Thursday through Saturday. Big pharmaceutical conference, important clients, networking opportunities. It was complete fiction. Master Sergeant Dale Crawford's contacts confirmed Grant wasn't going to Chicago. He was going to a resort in Virginia with his mistress, a 24-year-old pharmaceutical representative named Amber. Tom Hayes sat in his living room with Detective Brennan and attorney Marcus Whitmore. Battle planning, military precision. We have 72 hours, Tom said. 3 days while Grant is gone to get Becca out of that house. Pack her belongings, secure evidence, establish her at a safe location. Marcus reviewed the documents. I'm filing for emergency protective order, asset freeze, sole custody of the unborn child, emergency divorce proceedings. Everything hit simultaneously when Grant lands back in town. Detective Brennan added notes to her file. I've got the video evidence, medical documentation from Dr. Sullivan, witness statements from his ex-girlfriends, his country club recordings. This is the strongest case I've built in years. What about her safety? Diane asked. She sat next to Tom, hadn't left his side since they brought Becca home yesterday. When he realizes she's gone, when he sees the house is empty, he'll come here. Let him, Tom said quietly. I'll be waiting. Detective Brennan shook her head. No, we do this legally. Restraining order will be in place before he lands. Police will serve papers at the airport. He won't get within 500 yards of any of you. Becca appeared in the doorway, 7 months pregnant, moving slowly, every step calculated around the pain. I want to be there, she said. When you pack up the house, I need to be there. Becca, you should rest, Diane started. No, that's my stuff. My grandmother's chinano. My books, my clothes. I'm not letting him keep any of it. Tom looked at his daughter, saw the determination in her eyes. The same determination he saw in Marines before difficult missions. Okay, he said. You'll come. But we do this carefully, strategically. Military operation. Becca nodded, sat down on the couch. Gingerly. Everything hurt. Jill is bringing the moving truck, Becca said. She'll be here in an hour. Your friend from college? Diane asked. Yeah, I called her last night, told her everything. She said, and I quote, like I'm actually letting him keep your grandmother's china. Tom smiled. First real smile in days. Jillian Pierce arrived exactly 1 hour later. Dark hair in a messy bun, graphic design company t-shirt, fury in her eyes. She hugged Becca carefully. I'm going to help you rob that house blind, Jill said. Legally, but thoroughly. The convoy headed to Grant's house at 10 in the morning. Tom's truck, Jill's moving truck, Detective Brennan's unmarked car, Marcus following in his sedan. They pulled into the driveway. The house stood silent, empty, waiting. Becca's hand shook as she unlocked the door. The house looked normal, clean, organized, like a magazine spread, like nothing bad ever happened here. But Becca knew better. Start with your personal items, Marcus instructed. Things that are clearly yours, then shared items. Document everything with photos. Becca moved through the house like a ghost. Each room held memories, most of them tainted now. The kitchen where she made dinners that were never good enough. The living room where Grant reviewed her daily schedule. The bedroom where everything fell apart. Jill followed with boxes, bubble wrap, packing tape. Tell me what you want, Jill said. I'll pack it. They started in the bedroom. Becca's clothes, maternity wear, regular clothes for after the baby. Everything folded carefully, packed methodically. Then Becca opened the closet, saw the belt rack, the leather belt, the one he used. It hung there, innocent, just another accessory. She stared at it, couldn't move. Tom appeared behind her, gently took her arm, led her away. I'll handle this, he said. Detective Brennan photographed the belt, documented its position, then bagged it as evidence. They moved to the nursery, the room Becca spent months decorating. Soft yellow walls, white furniture, handmade mobiles she bought at a craft fair. I want everything, Becca said. Every piece. He doesn't get to keep any of this. Jill and Diane started disassembling the crib, packing the clothes, boxing the toys. Becca moved to Grant's office, the place she wasn't allowed, his private space. She opened the door, saw his desk, his computer, his laptop sat open, unlocked. Tom appeared next to her. Don't touch anything, let me. But Becca was already moving, already sitting at the desk, already looking at the screen. The laptop showed a folder structure. Organized, labeled. One folder caught her eye. Training. She clicked it. Photos appeared. Hundreds of photos of her, sleeping, showering, changing clothes, cooking, cleaning, photos she never knew existed. Photos taken without her knowledge, without her consent. Becca's stomach turned. She tasted bile. What is this? She whispered. Tom looked over her shoulder, his jaw clenched. Detective Brennan, you need to see this. Detective Brennan entered, saw the screen. Her expression hardened. This is surveillance. Illegal surveillance. How many photos? Tom clicked through folders. Hundreds, maybe thousands, some going back 2 years. What else is in here? Tom opened another folder. Forum posts. The screen showed online forums, discussion threads, posts by username Grant M. Tom clicked one thread. Training your wife, my progress. The post detailed techniques, isolation methods, punishment strategies, control mechanisms. Grant discussing how to break a woman's will, how to make her compliant, how to keep her afraid, comparing notes with other men. Trading advice, celebrating successes. Becca read one post, then another, then couldn't read anymore. He never loved me. I was a project, an experiment. The thought hit her like physical pain. Everything, their entire relationship, the courtship, the romance, the wedding, all of it was calculated, planned, designed to trap her. Jill found her collapsed on the office floor, sobbing, hyperventilating. We're documenting everything, Jill said fiercely, holding Becca. Then we're burning this place down, metaphorically. Detective Brennan copied the entire laptop, every file, every folder, every forum post. This is evidence of premeditation, Detective Brennan said, conspiracy to commit abuse. This elevates the charges significantly. They spent 6 hours packing, boxing, loading, the moving truck filled with Becca's life, her possessions, her grandmother's china, her books, her clothes, her baby's nursery. Everything that mattered. The house stood half empty when they finished, strategic items removed, everything else left behind. Tom did a final walkthrough, checked every room, made sure they had everything important. Then he saw them. More cameras, hidden in air vents, behind picture frames, in light fixtures. Grant had been watching everything, recording everything, for years. We're taking these too, Tom told Detective Brennan. Evidence. They loaded the cameras, labeled them, documented their locations. By evening, the convoy returned to Tom and Diane's house, the house where Becca grew up, the house with her childhood bedroom still intact. They unloaded everything. Becca's possessions filled the garage, overflowed into the spare bedroom. Diane made dinner, comfort food, chicken and dumplings, Becca's favorite. They sat around the table. Becca, Tom, Diane, Jill, Detective Brennan, Marcus, a team, a family, an army preparing for battle. Grant lands tomorrow at 3 p.m., Marcus said. Police will serve restraining order at the airport. Asset freeze goes into effect at 5 p.m. Divorce petition filed by end of business. Dove. His world implodes in less than 24 hours, Detective Brennan added. Good, Becca said quietly. The first time she spoke in hours. Everyone looked at her. Good, she repeated. I want him to feel what I felt. Powerless, trapped, watching his life fall apart and knowing he can't stop it. Tom reached across the table, took his daughter's hand. He will, Tom promised. I'm going to make sure Chauvet. After dinner, Tom helped Becca settle into her old bedroom. The room hadn't changed much. Same yellow walls, same bookshelves filled with childhood favorites, same quilt on the bed. Becca sat on the edge of the bed, looked around. 7 months pregnant, 28 years old, back in her childhood room, starting over. I feel like I failed, she said quietly. Tom sat next to her. You survived. That's not failure. I married him. I stayed. I didn't leave sooner. You did what you needed to survive. That took more strength than leaving. Did it? Yes. Because leaving is one moment, one decision. Surviving day after day in that hell, that's 1,000 decisions, 1,000 moments of strength. Becca leaned against her father's shoulder, let herself be small, be scared, be his little girl for just a moment. I'm getting us out, she whispered to her belly, to the baby. I promise. The baby kicked in response, strong, fighting, like mother, like child. Grant Morrison's plane touched down at Washington Dulles Airport at 3:15 p.m. on Saturday afternoon. He walked through the terminal holding Amber's hand, smiling, relaxed. 3 days at a Virginia resort. No conference, no clients, just adultery and deception. He turned on his phone as they reached baggage claim. Texts flooded in. Nothing from Becca, that was normal. She knew better than to bother him during business trips. But there were messages from his mother, his lawyer, his boss, all marked urgent. Grant frowned, opened his mother's text first. Call me immediately. Police are asking questions. His lawyer's text was more direct. Do not go home. Come to my office now. His boss's text made his blood run cold. We need to talk Monday morning. Don't be late. Everything okay? Amber asked. She adjusted her designer sunglasses, the ones Grant bought her last month. Not sure. Work stuff probably. Let me make some calls. I'll grab our bags. Grant stepped away, dialed his lawyer's number. The phone rang once. Grant, where are you? Just landed. What's going on? You need to come to my office. Now, don't go home. Don't talk to anyone. Why, what happened? Your wife filed for divorce, emergency protective order, asset freeze. It all hit this morning. The police are involved. There are criminal charges pending. Grant's world tilted. What? That's impossible. Becca wouldn't. She did. And Grant, it's bad, really bad. They have evidence, video evidence. The nanny cam. Realization hit like ice water. I'm coming to your office now. Grant ended the call, looked around, saw them immediately. 2 police officers, uniformed, walking toward him with purpose. Grant Morrison, the female officer asked. Yes. You're being served with a protective order. You are prohibited from contacting your wife, Rebecca Morrison. You are prohibited from going to your residence. Violation of this order will result in immediate arrest. She handed him papers. Official, legal, stamped. People in the airport stopped, stared, whispered. And Amber walked up with their bags, saw the police. Her face went pale. Grant, what's happening? Grant wanted to explain, to spin the story, to make it sound reasonable. But the female officer was already talking to Amber. Ma'am, are you aware that Mr. Morrison is married? Amber's eyes widen. What? No, he said he was divorced. He said his ex-wife was crazy, that the divorce finalized last year. Mr. Morrison is currently married. His wife is 7 months pregnant, and he's currently being investigated for domestic violence. Amber dropped her bag, stared at Grant. You said you were divorced. I am. Basically, we've been separated. She's 7 months pregnant. It's complicated. Amber backed away. Don't call me. Don't text me. Don't contact me ever again. She walked away, fast, nearly running. Grant stood in the middle of the airport, police officers watching him, passengers staring, his mistress gone, his life imploding. He looked at the protective order paperwork, read the details. No contact with Rebecca, no access to the house, asset freeze, divorce petition, emergency custody hearing scheduled. And at the bottom, criminal investigation, multiple felony charges pending. Grant's phone rang, his lawyer. Where are you? Still at the airport. They just served me. Get in a car. Come to my office. Don't talk to anyone. Don't make any statements. Don't post on social media. Don't do anything except come here. Grant ended the call, got in a taxi, headed to his lawyer's office in downtown D.C. Meanwhile, at Grant's workplace, his boss received an anonymous email. The subject line read, Your employee, Grant Morrison. Attached were screenshots, forum posts, photos, messages. Everything Grant thought was private. Everything he thought was hidden. His boss forwarded the email to Human Resources, to Legal, to the Corporate Ethics Committee. By 5 p.m., Grant's employee badge was deactivated, his computer access revoked, his company car recalled. An HR investigation launched immediately. Pharmaceutical companies lived in terror of liability, of scandals, of public relations nightmares. An executive bragging about abusing his pregnant wife, using company resources to document it, posting on forums, using company internet, grounds for immediate termination, criminal referral, complete liability severance. At the country club, Detective Brennan met with Dale Crawford. He brought recordings, security footage, audio files of Grant bragging to his buddies. These conversations happened on club property, Detective Brennan said. Can I get official copies? Already done. Board approved it this morning. We don't want liability either. Process servers hit Grant's bank, his gym, his country club, his mother's house, subpoenas, evidence requests, witness statements. Every part of Grant's life got official notice. Everyone he knew got official questions. At Tom and Diane's house, Becca watched from the window. Her phone buzzed constantly. Blocked calls, voicemails from Grant's mother, text messages from mutual friends, and all saying the same thing. You're overreacting. He made a mistake. You're destroying his life. Marriage is hard. Babies are stressful. Jill sat next to her. Screening messages, blocking numbers. Do they not see the video at Tegan? About the video, Becca asked. They don't want to see it. They don't want to see. It's easier to blame you than admit they missed the signs. Constance Morrison arrived at the house at 6 p.m., unannounced, angry. Tom met her at the door, didn't let her inside. I need to talk to Rebecca, Constance demanded. This is ridiculous. She's destroying my son's life over one argument. Tom pulled out his phone, showed her a screenshot, one of Grant's forum posts. Read this. Read what your son wrote about breaking my daughter, about training her, about making her obedient. Constance's face went white. That's not. He wouldn't. Read it, all of it. Tom handed her printed pages, forum posts, hundreds of them, years of them. Constance read. Her hands shook. Her face crumbled. I didn't raise this, she whispered. I didn't raise a monster. Maybe not, but you're defending one, so get off my property. And don't come back unless you're ready to tell the truth about who your son really is. Constance left, drove away. Becca watched from the window. She won't believe it. Not really. Mothers never believe their sons are capable of this. But Becca was wrong. Constance Morrison went home, opened her safe, pulled out boxes she hadn't looked at in years. Grant's childhood journals, report cards, letters from school counselors, evidence she ignored, Signs she missed. Red flags she explained away. The neighbor's cat that disappeared. The girlfriend in high school who transferred schools suddenly. The college roommate who moved out without explanation. All explained, all justified, all swept under the rug. Because her son was charming, successful, perfect. Except he wasn't. He never was. Constance spent the night reading, crying, facing the truth she spent 32 years avoiding. Her son was a monster, and she helped create him. Sunday morning, Constance called Detective Brennan. I need to give a statement. I need to testify. I have evidence, journals, records, things I should have shown people years ago. Detective Brennan took the statement, collected the evidence, then called Tom Hayes. You're not going to believe this. Grant's mother is cooperating. Full cooperation. She's testifying for the prosecution. Tom didn't know whether to feel vindicated or sad. A mother testifying against her son. The ultimate betrayal or the ultimate truth. At Grant's lawyer's office, Grant sat in a conference room. Papers spread in front of him. Evidence lists, witness statements, criminal charges. They have video, his lawyer said bluntly. Multiple videos. Medical records. Witness testimony from 2 ex-girlfriends. Financial records showing control. Forum posts showing premeditation. Even your mother is cooperating with prosecutors. My mother? She gave them your childhood journals. Apparently there's documentation of violent behavior going back to age 12. Grant's carefully constructed world fractured. This is insane. Over one argument, one bad night. Grant, I've seen the video, all 90 minutes of it. That wasn't one bad night. That was systematic torture. And unless you can prove that video is fake, you're looking at 15 to 20 years in prison. Can we settle? Pay her money, make it go away. She doesn't want money. She wants justice. And frankly, so does everyone else. Your employer, your country club, your ex-girlfriends, even your mother. Everyone wants to see you held accountable. So what do I do? You cooperate, plead guilty, take the best deal we can get. Because if this goes to trial, that video will be played in open court. Every news station will cover it. Every social media platform will share it. You'll be the poster child for domestic violence. Is that what you want? Grant stared at the evidence list, at the life he built, at the control he maintained, all of it crumbling because Becca finally stopped being afraid. I'm not the problem. I never was. Back at Tom's house, Becca sat at the kitchen table. Diane made tea. Tom reviewed legal documents. Jill scrolled through social media. You're trending, Jill said. What? Not you specifically, but domestic violence support groups are sharing your story. Anonymous. Just the facts. Pregnant woman, 50 belt strikes, video evidence, father who believed her, legal system working correctly. You're giving people hope. Becca's phone buzzed. Dr. Sullivan. Hi, Becca. Just checking in. How are you feeling? Sore, tired, overwhelmed. That's normal. I wanted to let you know. 3 women came in this week, all domestic violence victims. All said your case gave them courage to come forward. You are helping people even if you don't know it. After the call ended, Becca sat quietly. I didn't want to help people, she said. I just wanted to survive. Sometimes that's the same thing, Tom replied. The baby kicked, strong, insistent. I know, Becca whispered to her belly. I know we're going to be okay. But for the first time in 3 years, she actually believed it. Monday morning brought new warfare. Not physical, not obvious, but insidious. The phone call started at 7 a.m. Unknown numbers, blocked callers, all connected to Grant somehow. Mutual friends, church acquaintances, neighbors, Grant's coworkers who thought they knew him, all delivering the same message. You're overreacting. He made a mistake. You're destroying his life over one bad day. Becca's phone buzzed for the 20th time. Another voicemail. She didn't listen. Jill had stayed over. She grabbed Becca's phone. Stop answering. Stop listening. These people don't matter. They think I'm the villain. They're wrong, and eventually they'll see it. But the calls kept coming. Messages, texts, social media comments on old photos. Then Grant's mother called. Becca almost didn't answer. But something made her. Rebecca. Constance's voice was different, quiet, broken. I owe you an apology. I gave Detective Brennan evidence, Grant's journals, records I should have shown people years ago. I'm testifying for the prosecution. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I didn't protect you sooner. The call ended. Becca stared at her phone. Even his mother believes me. Even his mother sees the truth. That afternoon, Marcus Whitmore arrived with court documents. Emergency divorce hearing is Wednesday, he said. Temporary custody orders, asset division, restraining order confirmation. Grant's attorney is pushing back on everything. What does that mean? It means they're going to paint you as unstable, vindictive. They'll say you trapped him with pregnancy, that you're exaggerating abuse, that you're after money. I don't want money, I want safety. I know, but they're going to try every angle. You need to be prepared. Tom looked at Marcus. How prepared? They'll attack her character, question her mental state, imply she's lying. With video evidence, they'll claim it's out of context, that she provoked him, that it was a one-time incident blown out of proportion. Becca's stomach twisted. So nothing I say will matter. Everything you say will matter. The judge will see through their tactics, but you need to stay calm. Stay factual. Don't let them make you react. Tuesday brought the deposition. Grant's attorney, expensive, aggressive, male. He sat across from Becca in Marcus's conference room. Recording device on the table. Court reporter typing. Mrs. Morrison, how would you describe your marriage? Abusive? Prior to the alleged incident on Friday, how many times did your husband strike you? Many times. I stopped counting after the first year. So you can't give me an exact number? No. Did you ever seek medical attention for these alleged injuries? No, he was very careful about where he left marks, always places I could cover with clothes. So there's no medical documentation prior to last week? No. Did you ever tell anyone, family, friends, coworkers? No, he said if I told anyone, he would make sure everyone knew it was my fault, that my family would be ashamed of me, that I was a terrible wife. So for 3 years of marriage, you told no one, documented nothing, sought no help, and now you expect us to believe you were being systematically abused? Marcus interrupted. That's a speech, not a question. Grant's attorney smiled. Let me rephrase. Mrs. Morrison, isn't it true that you became pregnant intentionally to trap my client? No. Isn't it true that you wanted a baby and he wanted to wait? We both wanted children. Isn't it true that once you became pregnant, my client expressed concerns about financial stress? He never mentioned financial stress. We have plenty of money. Money that you want access to now. Your grandmother's trust fund, the house, his retirement accounts. Isn't this really about money? I just want safety for my baby and me. So you're willing to destroy an innocent man's career, his reputation, his life, to get safety you claim you need but never sought before. Becca's eyes filled with tears. I'm not destroying him. The truth is destroying him. The deposition continued for 3 hours. Every aspect of their marriage, every argument, every incident, and Grant's attorney twisted everything, made normal look suspicious, made survival look vindictive. By the end, Becca felt exhausted, dirty, like the truth didn't matter. Marcus drove her home. You did great. I cried, I got emotional. You're 7 months pregnant. You've been through trauma. Emotion is appropriate. The judge will see that. Wednesday brought the court hearing, temporary orders, emergency custody, restraining order confirmation. Becca wore a maternity dress, navy blue, conservative. Her belly obvious, undeniable. Grant sat across the courtroom. Suit and tie, perfect haircut, charming smile, the monster wearing a mask. The judge entered, female, 62 years old, reading glasses perched on her nose. I've reviewed the evidence submitted, the judge began. Video footage, medical records, witness statements. This is one of the most disturbing cases I've reviewed in my career. Grant's attorney stood. Your Honor, I'd like to address the so-called video evidence. My client maintains this was a single incident. Stress-related, he's willing to attend counseling. Anger management. Marriage counseling if Mrs. Morrison is willing. The judge removed her glasses, looked directly at Grant's attorney. Counselor, I watched that video, all 90 minutes of it. Your client didn't lose his temper. He didn't have an anger management problem. He committed 50 separate assaults on a pregnant woman in a shared home with premeditation. Those cameras suggest he was documenting his abuse, creating a record. That doesn't indicate stress. That indicates sadism. The courtroom went silent. Temporary orders are granted in full, the judge continued. Mrs. Morrison receives sole physical custody of the unborn child. Mr. Morrison is prohibited from all contact. Asset freeze remains in effect, and I'm referring this case for criminal prosecution with a recommendation for maximum sentencing. Grant's face went red. His attorney whispered urgently in his ear. Becca felt Tom's hand on her shoulder. Steady, supportive. The judge looked at Becca. Mrs. Morrison, I want you to know that the court believes you, protects you, and will ensure your safety throughout this process. Those words, that validation from someone with power, someone who could enforce consequences. Becca nodded, couldn't speak, tears streaming down her face. Outside the courthouse, news cameras waited. Someone leaked the story. Mrs. Morrison, can you comment on the allegations? How do you feel about the judge's decision? What do you want people to know about domestic violence? Marcus stepped in front. Mrs. Morrison has no comment at this time. Thank you. They rushed to Tom's truck, drove away. In the back seat, Becca sat in silence, processing, absorbing. The judge believed me, she finally said. She saw the video. She believed me. Everyone who sees the truth believes you, Tom replied. That's why Grant's world is falling apart. Truth has a way of revealing itself. That afternoon, the district attorney's office called. Mrs. Morrison, I'm Assistant District Attorney Victoria Pierce. I'm taking your case. Criminal prosecution. We're charging your husband with 50 counts of assault, domestic violence, child endangerment, stalking, voyeurism. He's looking at 15 to 20 years. When? Arraignment is Friday. He'll be arrested tomorrow. Can you be available for additional questioning this week? Yes. Good, because we're not just building a case, we're building an example. Domestic violence against pregnant women carries enhanced penalties. Your husband is going to be the poster child for why abusers go to prison. After the call, Becca sat with her parents, baby moving inside her. Future uncertain but clearer than before. What happens now, she asked. Now you rest, Diane said. You heal. You focus on the baby. What about Grant? Grant gets exactly what he deserves, Tom said. Justice, real, permanent, inescapable justice. Becca's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. You ruined my life. I hope you're happy. Grant, violating the restraining order. Becca showed Marcus. He forwarded it to Detective Brennan. That's another charge, Marcus said. Another nail in his coffin. Thursday morning, Grant Morrison was arrested at his mother's house, where he had been staying, where he thought he was safe. Detective Brennan personally made the arrest. Grant Morrison, you're under arrest for 50 counts of assault, domestic violence, child endangerment, stalking, voyeurism, violation of a protective order. You have the right to remain silent. Grant's mugshot went public within hours. Social media exploded. News stations covered it. Think pieces written about domestic violence, about pregnant victims, about men who hide behind charm. Becca's phone rang. A reporter. Mrs. Morrison, would you be willing to do an interview, share your story, help other women? Becca looked at Tom, at Diane, at Marcus. What do you think? I think it's your choice, Tom said. But I also think your voice matters. Your story matters. Becca thought about the women Dr. Sullivan mentioned, the ones who came forward because of her case. She thought about Emily, about Jessica, about every woman who tried to warn people and wasn't believed. I'll do it, Becca said. But on my terms, my story, no editing. The interview happened Friday afternoon. Local news, female reporter, gentle questions. Becca sat in Tom's living room, 7 months pregnant, visible but strong. Tell me what happened, the reporter said. Becca told her story, calmly, factually, no drama, no embellishment, just truth. She showed 30 seconds of the video, edited for broadcast, enough to prove, not enough to traumatize. I'm sharing this because I can't be the only one, Becca said to the camera. And if you're afraid to leave, if you think no one will believe you, if you're sure you can't survive alone, I want you to see. I'm 7 months pregnant. I left. If I can, you can. The interview aired at 6 p.m. By 7 p.m. it was viral. Women's shelters flooded with calls, hotlines overwhelmed, support groups filling up. Becca's story gave permission, gave hope, gave proof that leaving was possible. But it also brought backlash. Men's rights groups, false accusation forums, Grant's remaining defenders. They posted her photo, her address, her family's information. Threats arrived, vicious, detailed, terrifying. Detective Brennan increased security. Patrol cars outside Tom's house. Extra protection. Cybercrime unit tracking threats. This is normal, Detective Brennan said. When abusers lose control, their supporters attack. But we're documenting everything. Prosecuting threats. Protecting you. Becca sat in her childhood bedroom. Baby kicking. Phone buzzing with messages. Half supportive, half hateful. She turned off her phone, sat in silence. What if I'm hurting the baby by fighting him? Maybe I should just disappear, change my name, move across the country. The thought was tempting. Run, hide, disappear. But Becca thought about the women calling hotlines, the ones watching her interview, the ones finding courage in her story. If she disappeared, what message did that send? That abusers win. That fighting back is pointless. That safety requires giving up everything. No, she wouldn't disappear. She would stand, fight, survive, and she would make damn sure Grant Morrison faced every consequence he earned. The online harassment intensified over the weekend. Becca's photo appeared on multiple websites, forums dedicated to false accusations, men's rights groups claiming she was lying. They posted her parents' address, Tom's military records, Diane's former workplace. Everything public, everything exposed, everything weaponized. Monday morning brought a bomb threat to Dr. Sullivan's office. Evacuated, searched, nothing found. But the message was clear. Help Becca Morrison. Face consequences. Dr. Sullivan called Becca directly. I'm not backing down, but I need to be smart about this. I'm arranging house calls for your remaining appointments. Portable ultrasound. Private care. Is that okay? I don't want to put you in danger. You're not. These people are. And I'm not letting them win. Tuesday afternoon, Dr. Sullivan arrived at Tom's house. Medical bag, ultrasound equipment, determination in her eyes. Let's check on this baby, she said. Becca lay on the couch. Dr. Sullivan spread gel on her belly, pressed the ultrasound wand against her skin. The baby appeared on screen, moving, active. But Dr. Sullivan's expression changed, concerned. What is it? Becca asked, panic rising. Baby's measuring small, behind growth curve, not dangerously, but concerning. Is it because of stress? Possibly. Stress hormones affect fetal development, the trauma you experienced, the ongoing harassment. Your body is in constant fight or flight mode. That impacts baby. Becca's worst fear confirmed. I'm hurting my baby. My fighting back is hurting my baby. After Dr. Sullivan left, Becca sat with her father in the garage, Tom's workspace, his sanctuary. What if I'm doing this wrong? Becca asked. What if I should just disappear? Take the settlement money, move to Montana, change my name, start over where no one knows me. Tom set down the wrench he was holding, looked at his daughter. Is that what you want? I want my baby to be safe, to be healthy, and right now fighting Grant is hurting my baby. Or, Tom said carefully, right now fighting Grant is saving your baby. Because if you disappear, if you take money and run, what happens in 5 years when Grant finds another woman? Another victim? What happens when he does this again? That's not my responsibility. Maybe not, but you have power right now. Evidence, public attention, legal momentum. If you walk away, all of that disappears, and Grant goes free. I'm 28 years old, 7 months pregnant, being harassed online by strangers, having nightmares every night, barely able to eat. Is this really the hill I die on? Tom pulled his daughter into a hug. Let her cry, let her break, let her be human. You don't have to be strong every minute, he whispered. You can be tired, scared, overwhelmed. That doesn't make you weak. That makes you human. Becca sobbed into her father's shoulder, let out 3 years of pain, fear, exhaustion. After she calmed, Tom made a call, put it on speaker. Master Sergeant Crawford, I need advice, military strategy. Dale's voice came through. What's the situation? Enemy is using psychological warfare, targeting my daughter through harassment, threats, intimidation. Goal is to make her surrender. Walkable, let the enemy win. What does your daughter want? Tom looked at Becca. She spoke quietly. I want justice, but I'm scared and tired, and I don't know if I can keep fighting. Dale's response was immediate. Then don't fight alone. You've got an entire network, military contacts, legal team, law enforcement, support groups, women watching your every move. You think you're fighting solo, but you've got an army behind you. An army, Becca repeated. Yes, ma'am. And armies don't surrender to terrorists. They adapt. They strategize. They win. After the call, Tom and Becca made a plan. No more passive defense, active strategy. Step 1, controlled media narrative. Step 2, public support. Step 3, systematic exposure of Grant's network. Wednesday morning, Tom contacted a media relations specialist, former military, experience with high-profile cases. I need to put my daughter's story out there. Her way, no editing, no spin, just truth. The specialist reviewed the materials, video, court documents, threats. This is a strong case, clear victim, clear perpetrator, clear evidence. We can work with this. They scheduled a full interview, longer than the first, more detailed, more comprehensive. Local news station, same reporter, primetime slot. Becca prepared, practiced, wrote notes. She wanted to say specific things, make specific points. Thursday evening, the interview aired. Becca on camera, visibly pregnant, calm, strong. I'm sharing this because isolation is an abuser's greatest weapon, Becca said. He made me believe I was alone, that no one would believe me, that leaving would be worse than staying. But he was wrong. People did believe me. Leaving was better than staying. And I'm here to tell every woman watching, you're not alone, you're believed, and leaving is possible. She showed more of the video, longer clips, enough to be undeniable. I'm also sharing this because my husband is not unique, Becca continued. He participated in online forums, discussed techniques with other abusers, traded advice, compared notes. This isn't one bad man. This is a system, a network, a culture that teaches men how to hurt women and get away with it. The interview showed screenshots of forum posts, Grant's username, other usernames, conversations. Law enforcement is investigating everyone involved, Becca said. Everyone who participated, everyone who encouraged, everyone who enabled. Because abuse doesn't happen in isolation. It happens in community, and that community needs to be exposed. The interview ended with Becca looking directly at the camera. To the women harassing me online, calling me a liar, claiming I'm destroying an innocent man, I understand. You're scared. You're invested in believing women lie, because if I'm telling the truth, you have to confront the men in your own lives. The jokes you laughed at, the control you normalized, the signs you ignored. That's uncomfortable. That's hard. But truth doesn't care about your comfort, and neither do I. The interview exploded. Millions of views within hours. Women came forward. Not just Grant's ex-girlfriends, women whose husbands participated in those same forums. Women who recognized the patterns, the techniques, the tactics. Friday morning, multiple arrests, forum administrators, active participants. Men who thought anonymity protected them. Federal charges, conspiracy, racketeering, interstate communication of threats. Grant's former friends started cooperating, turning on each other, providing evidence. The network collapsed, systematically, thoroughly. Saturday brought unexpected support. Grant's ex-girlfriends, Emily, Jessica, others Becca didn't know existed. They all issued statements, public, detailed, corroborating. Grant Morrison had a pattern, a history, a methodology, and now everyone knew. Sunday afternoon, Constance Morrison appeared at Tom's door, different than before. Broken, honest. "I need to talk to Rebecca." Tom let her in. Becca came downstairs, wary, protective. Constance stood in the living room, holding a box. "These are Grant's childhood journals," she said. "Records from school counselors, letters from teachers. Everything I ignored, everything I explained away. I'm giving them to the prosecution. And I wanted you to see them first." She handed the box to Becca. Becca opened it. "Read the first journal entry. 10-year-old Grant describing how he made the neighbor's cat disappear. Detailed, proud, remorseless." She flipped through more pages, more entries, more signs. "Why didn't you show people this?" Becca asked. "Because he was my son, because I loved him, because I convinced myself he would grow out of it, that it was just a phase, that I could fix him." Constance's voice broke. "I was wrong, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry you paid the price for my denial." Becca looked at the journals, at the evidence of a monster being built, one ignored sign at a time. "I'm testifying for the prosecution," Constance continued. "Full cooperation. Everything I know, everything I ignored, everything I should have stopped." After Constance left, Becca sat with the journals, reading, processing. Grant wasn't created by their marriage. He was created by a lifetime of enablement, of people looking away, of consequences avoided. And now, finally, consequences found him. Becca's phone rang. "Detective Brennan. I wanted to update you. The criminal case is airtight. Grand jury indicted on all charges. Trial is set for 6 weeks from now. But there's more." "What?" "His ex-employer found evidence of corporate espionage, using company resources to document abuse. Liability nightmare. They're filing their own charges. Civil, criminal, everything." "What does that mean?" "It means even if somehow the domestic violence charges don't stick, which they will, he's still going to prison. Corporate espionage carries serious time." After the call, Becca sat with Tom and Diane. "It's working," she said quietly. "Everything's working. The system is actually working." "Because the right people cared," Tom replied. "Because you were brave enough to tell the truth. Because evidence was undeniable." Becca's hand went to her belly. Baby moving, strong, fighting. "I'm sorry you're growing up in stress," she whispered. "But I'm getting us free. I promise." The baby kicked in response, hard, insistent, like mother, like child. Fighters, both of them. Becca woke at 2 in the morning, sharp pain across her abdomen, contractions, too early. She was 36 weeks. Full term was 40 weeks. "Mom," she called out, voice tight with pain. Diane appeared within seconds, took one look, called Tom. "We're going to the hospital." Now. The drive felt endless. Becca breathed through contractions, 4 minutes apart, 3 minutes, 2 minutes. "Too fast," Diane said. "This is happening too fast." They arrived at the hospital emergency entrance. Security detail already in place. Detective Brennan's orders. A wheelchair appeared. Nurses surrounded Becca, rushed her to labor and delivery. Dr. Sullivan met them there, called in from home, still in her pajamas under her white coat. "Let's see what we're dealing with," Dr. Sullivan said. Calm, professional, exam, ultrasound, fetal monitoring. "You're in active labor, doctor," Sullivan confirmed. "Baby's in distress, heart rate dropping. We need to do an emergency C-section." "Is the baby okay?" Becca asked, tears streaming down her face. "Baby will be okay, but we need to deliver now." They prepped her for surgery. IV, catheter, anesthesia. Tom and Diane waited in the hallway. Diane paced. Tom stood rigid, military posture. Control when everything felt out of control. Then they heard it, angry voices, security radio chatter, Grant Morrison, at the hospital, demanding access. Tom moved immediately, down the hallway, to the entrance. Grant stood at the security desk, suit, tie, charm offensive activated. That's my wife, my baby. I have a right to be here. The security guard checked his computer. Sir, there's a restraining order. You're not allowed within 500 yards. That's ridiculous. I'm the father. Sir, you need to leave. I'm not leaving until I see my wife. Tom appeared, blocked the doorway to labor and delivery. Through me, Tom said quietly. Only way you touch my daughter again. Grant's mask slipped. The charming smile disappeared. Cold eyes emerged. You turned her against me. Poisoned her mind. Made her think I'm some kind of monster. I didn't make you anything. You did that yourself. 50 times with a belt. She deserved it. She needs discipline, structure. I was making her better. You were breaking her, and now you're broken. Permanently. Security moved in. 2 officers, hands on Grant's arms. Sir, you're under arrest. Violation of protective order. They cuffed him, led him away. Grant shouting threats, promises, accusations. Tom stood watching until Grant disappeared, then returned to the waiting area. Diane looked up. Is he gone? He's arrested. Again, he won't bother us anymore. 30 minutes later, Dr. Sullivan emerged, surgical mask pulled down, smile on her face. You have a grandson, 4 pounds 6 ounces, breathing on his own, strong. He's in NICU for monitoring, but he's going to be fine. Tom and Diane followed Dr. Sullivan to the NICU, windows looking into the nursery, rows of tiny babies in isolettes. And there he was, Becca's son, their grandson, tiny, perfect, fighting. Becca woke up in recovery an hour later, groggy from anesthesia, confused. The baby? Her first words. He's perfect, Diane said, holding her daughter's hand. Tiny, but perfect. Can I see him? They wheeled her to NICU, to the isolette with her son. She looked at him through the clear plastic. So small, so vulnerable, so completely hers. Hi, baby, she whispered. I'm your mom. I'm sorry you had to come early, but we're free now. We're safe. She reached through the porthole, touched his tiny hand, his fingers wrapped around one of hers. Stronger than he looked, fighting to be here. What's his name? The NICU nurse asked. Becca looked at her father, at the man who saved her, protected her, believed her. Thomas Hayes Morrison, after his grandfather. Tom's eyes filled with tears, first time in 30 years of military service. He has my name, not his father's, Becca said, because Grant Morrison doesn't deserve to be anyone's father. The next few days blurred together. NICU visits, feeding, holding, bonding. Tom brought clothes, books, photos from home. Diane brought food, chocolate, comfort. Jill brought flowers, balloons, ridiculous stuffed animals. Marcus brought legal documents. Grant signed everything, Marcus said. Full custody to you. No visitation. He's terminating parental rights. Becca stared at the papers. He's giving up his son? He'd rather have no son than share custody with you. That's how much he needs control. If he can't control the narrative, he walks away. So he's free of responsibility. Legally, yes, but morally, emotionally, socially, he'll carry this forever. Becca signed the papers, watched her son sleep in his isolette. I'm not keeping him from his father. His father is freeing himself from accountability. 1 week after delivery, Becca was released from the hospital. Thomas stayed in NICU for another 3 weeks, standard for premature babies. Becca lived at the hospital, beside his isolette, learning to feed him, hold him, care for him. 3 a.m. became her favorite time. The NICU quiet, most families gone. Just Becca and Thomas and the rhythmic beeping of monitors. She sat beside his isolette, hand through the porthole, touching his tiny fingers, humming, the lullaby her father used to sing. Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Papa's gonna buy you a mockingbird. Thomas's tiny fingers gripped hers, His chest rose and fell, steady, strong. She watched him breathe, watched him love, watched him thrive despite everything. This is peace, she realized. This moment, right here. This is what I was fighting for. Not revenge, not punishment, not even justice, just this. The simple right to sit with her son at 3 in the morning, without fear, without pain, without monitoring her own words and actions to avoid violence. Freedom, real, simple, beautiful freedom. 4 weeks after his birth, Thomas came home. 5 pounds, 3 ounces. Healthy, released. Becca buckled him into his car seat, the one installed in her father's truck, drove him to her parents' house, her new home, her safe home, her starting over home. The trial began 6 weeks later. Becca's maternity leave, Thomas with Diane during court days. The courtroom filled quickly, press, domestic violence advocates, victims from other cases, Grant's former friends, his mother, everyone wanting to witness justice. Grant sat at the defense table, expensive suit, perfect haircut, mask back in place. But the mask didn't matter anymore. Everyone knew what lived underneath. Becca testified first, calm, factual, no drama. She described the marriage, the escalation, the control, the abuse. Grant's attorney cross-examined, tried to discredit, failed, because the video existed. Undeniable, irrefutable, 90 minutes of evidence. The jury watched it, all of it. Some cried, some looked away, all looked horrified. Dr. Sullivan testified. Medical evidence, 50 documented welts. Detective Brennan testified. Investigation findings, forum posts. Financial control. Emily testified. Jessica testified. 5 other ex-girlfriends testified. Pattern, history, methodology. Constance Morrison testified. Mother against son. The ultimate betrayal, or ultimate truth. I raised him, she said on the stand, voice shaking. I saw the signs, the cruelty, the manipulation, and I told myself it was normal, that boys will be boys, that he would grow out of it. I was wrong, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I didn't stop him sooner. The jury deliberated 8 hours. Guilty, 47 of 50 counts, sentencing 3 weeks later. The judge looked at Grant. No sympathy, no mercy. Mr. Morrison, you demonstrated systematic, prolonged, calculated torture of your pregnant wife. You documented it, discussed it with like-minded individuals, showed no remorse, no understanding of the harm caused. You are a danger to society, particularly to vulnerable women. 15 years, state prison, mandatory domestic violence treatment, lifetime restraining order from Mrs. Morrison and your child. Registration as an offender. No contact, no rights, no second chances. Grant's face went pale. His attorney objected, filed appeals. None of it would work. The evidence was too strong, the case too clear. Becca sat in the courtroom, held her father's hand, watched Grant be led away in handcuffs. She thought she would feel triumphant, vindicated, victorious. Instead, she felt tired, relieved, free. Not revenge, justice. And she survived to see it 6 months later. October, crisp air, changing leaves. Becca stood in her new apartment, small, 1 bedroom. Her name only on the lease. The furniture was secondhand, the dishes mismatched, the decor minimal. But it was hers, completely, totally, hers. Thomas sat in his bouncer, 9 months old now, chubby, happy, laughing at everything, no memory of the fear, the trauma, the chaos of his beginning. Just joy, simple, uncomplicated. Baby joy. Becca had gone back to teaching part-time. Online classes, flexibility to work around Thomas's schedule. The salary wasn't much, but combined with her recovered trust fund, the restitution Grant was court-ordered to pay, the child support he couldn't avoid. She was stable, secure, independent. She also facilitated a support group. Domestic violence survivors, women in various stages of escape, every Wednesday evening. 8 women, various stories. One common thread, they survived. Wednesday night, Becca settled Thomas with Diane, drove to the community center, set up the room, chairs in a circle, box of tissues within reach, coffee brewing. The women arrived. Some she knew, some new. One new woman stood at the door, hesitant, pregnant, maybe 5 months, 24 years old, scared. Becca walked over. Hi, I'm Becca. Welcome. I don't know if I should be here, the woman whispered. I don't know if I can leave. That's okay. You don't have to leave tonight. You just have to show up. Listen. Learn that you're not alone. The woman's eyes filled with tears. Everyone says I'm overreacting, that he's stressed, that I should be more understanding. Everyone said that to me too. They were wrong. The meeting started. Women sharing stories, progress, setbacks, victories. At the end, the new woman raised her hand. Can I ask, how did you know? How did you know when to leave? Becca pulled out her phone, showed a photo. Thomas giggling at Diane, big belly laugh, pure joy. 6 months ago, I was you, 7 months pregnant. Sure, I couldn't survive alone. Sure, no one would believe me. Sure, leaving would destroy me. This morning, my son laughed for the first time. Real belly laugh at his grandmother making faces. The man who hurt me is in prison. I'm here. My son is healthy. We were free. You can't see it yet, but there's a life on the other side of this, and it's yours. The woman cried. The whole group cried. Becca cried, because this was healing. Real, messy, beautiful healing. After the meeting, Becca drove home. Thomas asleep in his car seat. Evening sun warmed through the windows. Her phone buzzed. Text from Jill. Wine and terrible reality TV tomorrow? Becca smiled. Typed back. Oh, coffee. I'm nursing, but yes to terrible TV. Normal, boring, beautiful normal. She pulled into her apartment complex, carried Thomas inside, laid him in his crib, changed into pajamas, made tea, sat on her secondhand couch, looked around her tiny apartment, her safe space, her new beginning. The belt marks had faded to pale silver lines, barely visible, only noticeable if you knew to look. But she would never forget what they taught her. She was stronger than the man who tried to break her, and she would make damn sure Thomas grew up knowing real strength protects. It never destroys. Her phone rang, her father. Just checking in, how was group? Good. New woman, pregnant, scared. You help her? I tried, told her my story, showed her it's possible. You're doing good work, Becca girl. I'm just surviving, same as everyone else. That's the work, surviving, then helping others survive. That's how we change things. After the call, Becca checked on Thomas, still sleeping. Perfect, peaceful. She remembered the darkest moments, the bathroom floor, the hospital, the terror, the pain. But she also remembered the light, the people who believed her, the father who fought for her, the mother who supported her, the friend who packed her life, the doctor who reported, the detective who investigated, the lawyer who fought, the judge who ruled. The system worked, not perfectly, not easily, but eventually, and she was here, alive, free, whole. Becca sat at her small kitchen table, opened her laptop, started writing an article, her full story, for a domestic violence advocacy website. Not anonymous, her name, her face, her truth. Because silence protected abusers, truth protected victims. She wrote about the warning signs, the escalation, the isolation, the control. She wrote about the fear, the shame, the self-blame. She wrote about the courage it took to leave, the support she found, the justice she achieved, and she wrote about life after, the healing, the setbacks, the progress. I'm not saying it's easy, she wrote. I'm not saying it's quick. I'm saying it's possible. I'm saying you're not alone. I'm saying you're believed. I'm saying you deserve safety, peace, freedom, tradiero. I'm saying leave, please. Leave before it's too late. Because that prison door, the one that feels locked from the outside, you're holding the key. You always have been. She finished the article, attached her photo, Thomas in her arms, both of them smiling. Proof, evidence, hope. She hit send, then she made a bottle, fed Thomas his midnight feeding, rocked him back to sleep, hummed the lullaby, the one her father sang, the one she now sang to her son. Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Mama's gonna give you the whole wide world. She laid Thomas in his crib, watched him sleep, touched his soft hair. We made it, she whispered. We actually made it. Thomas sighed in his sleep, content, safe, loved. Becca went to her room, checked the locks. Once, not 3 times, progress. She climbed into bed, her bed, in her apartment, in her life. The nightmares still came sometimes. The memories still hurt. The healing wasn't linear, but she was free, and that was everything. She thought about Grant, in prison, 15 years. No control, no power, no victims. She didn't hate him anymore, didn't love him, didn't really feel anything. He was just a man who made terrible choices, who hurt people, who faced consequences. He wasn't her problem anymore. Her only problem now was deciding if Thomas needed the elephant mobile or the giraffe mobile for his crib. Normal problems, beautiful problems. She fell asleep thinking about mobiles, about daycare options, about teaching schedules. Not about survival, not about escape, not about fear, just normal life. The kind she fought for, the kind she earned, the kind she deserved, the kind everyone deserves. And in the morning, Thomas would wake her with babbling. Diane would bring coffee. Jill would text memes. Her father would call. Life would continue. Normal, boring, beautiful. And Becca Morrison would live it, fully, freely, fearlessly, because she survived. She healed. She helped others. And that was her victory, her justice, her happy ending. Not revenge, not destruction, not even vindication, just freedom. Simple, profound, hard-won freedom. And it was enough, more than enough. It was everything. 2 years later, Becca stood at a podium, state legislation hearing, proposed law, enhanced penalties for domestic violence against pregnant women, mandatory reporting requirements, funding for victim services. She testified, shared her story, showed the photo of Thomas, now almost 3 years old, happy, healthy, thriving. This law would have saved me years of abuse, Becca said. It will save others. Please vote yes. The legislation passed, unanimous. The law was named Thomas's Law, after her son, after the baby who survived despite everything. Becca accepted interviews, became an advocate, a voice, a face for survivors, not because she wanted fame, because she wanted change, because Grant Morrison wasn't unique. The system that enabled him wasn't unique, but the outcome could be, should be, would be different. One law at a time, one survivor at a time, one voice at a time. Becca drove home after the hearing, Thomas in his car seat, singing nursery rhymes off key. She looked at him in the rearview mirror, her son, her joy, her reason. We did it, baby. We changed things. Thomas grinned. We did it, repeating her words, innocent, proud, not understanding. Someday he would understand. Someday she would tell him the full story. But for now, she would just love him, protect him, teach him. That strength protects. That power serves. That real love never hurts. And that his mother was a survivor, a fighter, a warrior, who chose him, chose safety, chose freedom, and never looked back. Becca Morrison's story didn't end with revenge. It ended with justice, with freedom, with a little boy who will grow up knowing his mother is a survivor. But here's the truth. Becca's story isn't unique. Right now, as you're listening to this, someone else is counting. Someone else is hiding bruises. Someone else is wondering if anyone would believe them. Your engagement on this video matters. Every like tells the algorithm to share this story with someone who might need it. Every comment creates a community of support. Every share could reach the one person who needs permission to leave, who needs proof that survival is possible. So if this story moved you, if it made you think, if it reminded you that domestic violence happens behind closed doors in beautiful houses to women who seem to have perfect lives, hit that like button. Leave a comment, even just one word, survivor. Believe, hope, Justice, your words matter. Share this video. You never know who's watching, who's counting, who needs to hear that leaving is possible. And subscribe to this channel, because every week we share true stories of survival, of courage, of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Stories that remind us that justice is possible, that change is possible, that freedom is possible. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is 1-800-799-7233. That number could save a life, maybe yours, maybe someone you love. Thank you for listening. Thank you for caring. Thank you for being part of the solution. Until next time, stay safe, stay strong, and remember, you are believed.